Hey there, story lovers. Welcome back to the Story Corner. It's Dave here, ready to dive into another thrilling chapter with you. Today, we're exploring Chapter 2 of The Woman in the Mirror. And let me tell you, things are getting seriously spooky. We're following Sarah and her daughter Lily as they step into their new home, Greystone Manor. But this isn't your average fixer-upper, folks. We're talking creaky floorboards, whispers in the dark, and shadows that seem to have a mind of their own. What secrets is this old house hiding? And why does Sarah feel like she's being watched? You'll have to stick around to find out. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. If you're loving these chilling tales, hit that subscribe button to join our growing community of story enthusiasts. Now let's jump into the mysterious world of Greystone Manor.
Chapter 2. Greystone Manor. The interior of Greystone Manor looms before Sarah and Lily, a cavernous maw of decay and forgotten grandeur. The musty scent of neglect assaults their nostrils, a pungent cocktail of mold, dust, and something older, something that speaks of secrets long buried. Lily's small hand instinctively seeks out her mother's, her fingers curling tightly around Sarah's palm. The contact sends a jolt through Sarah. Her daughter's skin feels clammy, a physical manifestation of the fear that hangs in the air like a shroud. Lily's voice pierces the oppressive silence, bouncing off peeling wallpaper and tarnished mirrors. "This place is a dump. Are you sure we have to live here?" The words echo through the foyer, seeming to awaken something in the house. A faint creaking sound emanates from somewhere deep within, as if the manor itself is responding to the intrusion. Sarah's fingers find Lily's shoulder, feeling the tension coiled beneath the surface. She traces small circles on her daughter's skin, a habitual gesture of comfort that feels woefully inadequate in the face of their current surroundings. Her eyes roam the entrance hall, taking in every detail of their new home. The wallpaper, once a regal burgundy adorned with intricate golden patterns, now peels away from the walls in long, curling strips. In the dim light filtering through grimy windows, these tatters of paper seem to move of their own accord, reaching out like arthritic fingers to grasp at unwary passers-by. Ornate sconces line the walls, their brass dulled by years of neglect, cobwebs draped between them like macabre garlands. A grand staircase dominates the far end of the foyer, its wooden balustrade marred by deep scratches. As Sarah's gaze travels upward, she catches a fleeting movement on the landing above, a shadow darker than the rest, gone so quickly she can't be sure it was ever there. "I know it needs some work," Sarah says, her voice sounding hollow in the vast space. "But it's our fresh start. Just think of the potential." She tries to infuse her words with hope, but they fall flat, muffled by the thick layer of dust that coats every surface. Even to her own ears, the attempt at optimism rings false. Lily's eyes dart nervously from corner to corner, tracking shadows that seem to move of their own accord. A shiver runs through her small frame, visible even beneath her oversized sweater. "Potential for what? A heart attack?" she mutters, loud enough for Sarah to hear. The words strike Sarah like a physical blow. She runs a hand through her disheveled hair, feeling the weight of their decision to move here settle on her shoulders like a heavy cloak. The enormity of what she's asking of her daughter, to leave behind everything familiar, to start anew in this decrepit mansion, threatens to overwhelm her. "Come on," Sarah says, forcing a smile she doesn't feel. "Let's explore a bit. Maybe it'll look better once we get used to it." She takes a step forward, and the floorboard beneath her foot lets out a prolonged groan, the sound reverberating through the empty halls. As they venture deeper into the manor, each step elicits a chorus of creaks and groans. The sound seems to awaken the house, stirring long-dormant energies. Strange noises begin to reverberate around them, the faint sound of whispers carried on non-existent drafts, and the occasional thud that sends Lily jumping in fright, her small frame colliding with Sarah's side. "Did you hear that?" Lily's voice is barely above a whisper, her eyes wide with fear. She clings to Sarah's arm, her fingernails digging into her mother's skin hard enough to leave crescent-shaped indentations. Sarah strains her ears, trying to discern any unusual sounds amidst the settling of the old house. A soft scraping noise, like nails dragging across wood, reaches her ears. The hairs on the back of her neck stand up, and she suppresses a shiver. "It's an old house, sweetie," she says, her voice not quite steady. "They make all sorts of noises." They push open a door, its hinges shrieking in protest, to reveal what must have once been a grand living room. The space is cavernous, its high ceiling lost in shadow. A massive fireplace dominates one wall, its mantel adorned with intricate carvings now obscured by grime. Sarah squints, trying to make out the figures. Are those faces twisted in agony? Or is it just a trick of the light? Sheets drape the furniture like pale ghosts, their outlines hinting at elegant sofas and high-backed chairs beneath. As Sarah and Lily move further into the room, particles of dust dance in the weak sunlight filtering through grimy windows, creating a hazy, dreamlike quality to the air. The room smells of mildew and something else, something older and more pungent that Sarah can't quite place. It reminds her of old pennies and something metallic, a scent that makes her stomach churn uneasily. "Mom, I don't like this," Lily says, her voice small and quavering. "Can we just go back home?" She clutches Sarah's hand, her grip almost painfully tight. Her eyes are fixed on a far corner of the room where the shadows seem to writhe and twist of their own accord. Sarah follows her daughter's gaze, her heart rate quickening as she sees nothing, just an empty corner. But for a moment, just a split second, she could have sworn she saw a figure standing there. A woman in an old-fashioned dress, watching them with hollow eyes. Shaking off the unsettling image, Sarah kneels down, meeting her daughter's frightened gaze. She sees the shimmer of unshed tears and feels a pang of guilt so sharp it's almost physical. The weight of their circumstances, the loss of their old life, the uncertainty of this new one threatens to overwhelm her. But she pushes it down, forcing herself to be strong for Lily's sake. "Oh, Lily," she says softly, brushing a strand of hair from the girl's face. Her fingers linger on Lily's cheek, cool and clammy with fear. "I know this is scary and different, but sometimes we have to face our fears to find something beautiful." She forces a smile, hoping it reaches her eyes. "Remember how you were afraid of the water last summer? And then once you learned to swim, you didn't want to leave the pool." Lily nods hesitantly, her grip on Sarah's hand loosening slightly. A flicker of memory passes across her face, the feeling of weightlessness, the joy of conquering her fear. For a moment, the oppressive atmosphere of the manor recedes, replaced by the ghost of chlorine and summer sunshine. "This is like that," Sarah continues, her voice growing stronger. "It's new and a little scary now, but soon it'll feel like home. We'll clean it up, make it ours, and we'll do it together, okay?" Her words carry more confidence than she feels, but she clings to the hope that they will prove true. "Promise?" Lily's voice wavers, but there's a hint of hope there. Her eyes search Sarah's face, seeking reassurance. Sarah pulls her daughter close, breathing in the familiar scent of her shampoo, a comforting contrast to the musty air around them. She feels Lily's heart racing against her chest, a tangible reminder of the fear she's putting her child through. "I promise," she whispers into Lily's hair. "We're safe here. This is our new home now." As the words leave her lips, a sudden gust of wind howls through the house, rattling windows and sending the dust sheets billowing like sails. The temperature in the room seems to drop several degrees, and Sarah could swear she hears a faint, mirthless laugh echoing from somewhere deep within the manor. She pulls Lily closer, her eyes darting around the room. The shadows in the corners seem to deepen, and for a moment Sarah is certain they're not alone. But as quickly as it came, the wind dies down, leaving behind only the faint creaking of settling wood and the rapid beating of her own heart. "Did you feel that?" Lily whispers, her voice muffled against Sarah's sweater. Sarah swallows hard, forcing her voice to remain steady. "It's just the wind, sweetheart. Old houses like this, they have drafts." But even as she speaks the words, a part of her wonders if she's trying to convince Lily or herself. As the day wears on, they make tentative forays into different rooms, each one revealing new layers of decay and forgotten grandeur. In what must have been a study, Sarah runs her fingers along book spines, leaving trails in the dust. Titles peek out at her. Histories, novels, and curiously, several volumes on local folklore and supernatural phenomena. She pulls out one book, its leather binding cracked and peeling. Spirits of Cedar Hollow, a compendium of local hauntings. She reads aloud, a chill running down her spine. She makes a mental note to examine it more closely later, a seed of unease taking root in her mind. Lily trails behind her, occasionally reaching out to touch a piece of furniture or pick up a discarded trinket. Her initial fear seems to be giving way to a cautious curiosity. "Mom, look at this," she says, holding up a tarnished silver locket. As Sarah takes it from her, the metal seems to pulse with an unnatural warmth. She turns it over in her hand, her finger catching on a small clasp. "Should we open it?" Lily asks, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. Sarah hesitates, her thumb poised over the clasp. Something deep within her screams not to open it, that some things are better left undisturbed. But another part of her, a part growing stronger with each passing moment in this strange house, yearns to uncover its secrets. "Maybe later," she says finally, slipping the locket into her pocket. Its weight feels disproportionate to its size, as if it carries more than just metal and memories. "We should start unpacking our things. It'll feel more like home with our stuff around." That night, as they try to settle into their temporary bedroom, Sarah having decided that sleeping separately might be too much for Lily just yet, the sounds of the house grow more pronounced. The wind picks up outside, whistling through cracks in the window frames and sending tree branches scraping against the glass. Shadows dance on the walls, cast by the flickering flame of a candle Sarah had found in a kitchen drawer. Sarah lies awake, listening to the house settling around them, while Lily tosses and turns, unable to sleep. The girl's soft whimpers cut through Sarah like a knife, each one a reminder of the upheaval she's put her daughter through. The enormity of their situation weighs heavily on her. The loss of their old life, the uncertainty of this new one, and the nagging feeling that there's more to Greystone Manor than meets the eye. "Shh, it's okay," Sarah murmurs, stroking Lily's hair. The silky strands slip through her fingers, a tactile reminder of her daughter's vulnerability. "Try to sleep. Things will look better in the morning." But even as she speaks the words, Sarah finds herself doubting them. In the pale moonlight filtering through the dusty windows, she spots a flash of movement in the hallway. Squinting, she makes out the vague outline of a figure before it vanishes. Her heart rate quickens, adrenaline flooding her system. She blinks rapidly, willing her eyes to adjust to the dim light. "Hello?" she calls out softly, not wanting to wake Lily. No response comes, save for the continued creaking of the house. The silence seems to press in on her, thick and expectant. Shaking her head, she convinces herself it was just a trick of the light, a combination of exhaustion and an overactive imagination. Still, she pulls Lily closer, one arm draped protectively over the sleeping child. The warmth of her daughter's body is a comfort, an anchor in this sea of uncertainty. But as she drifts off to an uneasy sleep, the floorboards in the hallway emit a long, drawn-out groan, as if bearing the weight of an unseen presence. Sarah's eyes snap open, her body tense. She can't shake the feeling that they are not alone in this house. In her fitful dreams that night, Sarah sees fleeting images. A woman in an old-fashioned dress, her face obscured by shadow. Whispered conversations in candlelit rooms that fade as soon as she tries to focus on them. And always the sense of being watched by unseen eyes. The dream Sarah moves through the house, each room transforming from its current state of decay to a vision of its former glory and back again. She catches glimpses of figures just out of sight, hears snatches of conversation that make no sense, and feels a growing sense of dread building in her chest. When she wakes with a start in the gray light of dawn, the dream images fade, leaving behind only a lingering sense of unease and the certainty that Greystone Manor holds secrets yet to be uncovered. Sarah sits up, her nightgown clinging to her sweat-soaked skin. Beside her, Lily sleeps peacefully, her face relaxed in a way it hasn't been since they arrived. Sarah looks around the room, taking in the peeling wallpaper, the dust-covered furniture, and the way the early morning light casts long shadows across the floor. For a moment, she swears she sees a figure standing in the corner, a woman in a long dress, watching them with hollow eyes. But when she blinks, the figure is gone. Rubbing her eyes, Sarah tries to shake off the remnants of her dreams. But as she looks down at her sleeping daughter, a chill runs down her spine. The locket Lily found yesterday lies on the bedside table, and as Sarah watches, it seems to move slightly, as if pushed by an invisible hand. "What have I gotten us into?" Sarah whispers to herself, her voice barely audible over the creaking of the old house. But even as fear threatens to overwhelm her, she feels something else stirring within her, a determination to uncover the truth about Greystone Manor, no matter what secrets it might hold. As if in response to her unspoken challenge, a sudden gust of wind rattles the windows, and Sarah could swear she hears a faint whisper carried on the breeze. A woman's voice filled with a mixture of longing and warning. "Welcome home, Sarah." The locket on the bedside table clicks open, revealing a faded daguerreotype of a woman who could be Sarah's twin. And as the first rays of sunlight pierce through the grimy windows, illuminating the room in a soft golden glow, Sarah realizes that their journey into the heart of Greystone Manor's mysteries has only just begun.
Wow, what an atmospheric chapter. Greystone Manor is certainly living up to its name, with all those creepy vibes and mysterious happenings. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely intrigued by what Sarah and Lily might uncover in this old house. What do you think is going on with that locket, and who could that woman in the mirror be? Drop your theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. If you're enjoying The Woman in the Mirror, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us here at the Story Corner. We've got plenty more twists and turns coming up, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Thanks for listening, everyone. This is Dave, reminding you that sometimes the best stories are the ones that keep you up at night. See you in the next chapter.